record. And I will trim out this excess in just a bit. And I want to hide this screen. Okay, to start off, I'm going to go over the process that you would take to create a horizontal stabilizer in IronCAD. We're going to begin with a 3D scene. We're going to use metric and blue and click OK. As IronCAD is starting up here, one thing that you may want to make note is dialog browser and scene browser are visible. If they're not, if for some reason one of them is missing, you can come to the Common tab. You can come over here and turn them back on. And we're going to start with a block. And now the dimensions that we're going to give to this block, we're going to get from the measurements that we took in Chrome here. We recorded them on our presentation, which were 12, 13, 78. So if we add 12 and 13, we can get an overall length of 25, and we have an overall width of 78. So we're going to click. This is a left click on our shape. We see the push pins. We can then right click on the head of one of the push pins, the red dot. We right click it. We get the edit size box menu. We come in here. We said for the length, we're going to do a 25. For the width, we're going to do a 78. And for the height, we're going to do 1. We click OK. Now we're going to take and you can see that I am actually missing my status bar. I'm going to come on Common tab here, Catalog Browser, Status Bar. And there we now have our status bar down at the bottom where we can click on Fit Scene. I'm going to select the top, and now we're all going to be working on the same surface. So we're doing Feature. We're going to go to the Extrude Wizard, and we're going to click on the dot right in the center. When you do that, we're going to select Remove Material and Finish. And when you get this message, if you ever get this message, my recommendation is to click on Continue Without Change. Okay, this just controls the zoom of your screen. So we're going to click OK. And now we're ready to begin drawing. Now we need to go back and we need to take a look at some of the features. So the feature here that I'm looking at is I want to know how far this curve extends from the left-hand side, and it's 28 millimeters. I also want to know how far up it extends. You can see from the left-hand side, it starts about midway, and it's 12 millimeters up to the top. So 28 and 12 are the two dimensions that we're concerned with. We're going to come back to here. We're going to start with a 12. So we're going to do a 2-point line. I select it. It turns gray. I'm going to right-click. And it is important when you right-click, you do not let go of the click, but hold it down. Drag a straight line along the top surface of your shape and then let go. When you do that, you'll be presented with a dialog box where you can enter the desired length of the line. In this case, we want the length to be 12. So we're going to enter 12 and click OK. Now we're going to do the same thing coming down. We're going to right-click and drag straight down, and we're going to enter in a dimension of 28. And we click OK. It's important that you don't right-click and let go of your click until you have your nice straight line. Now we're going to, I will zoom in a little bit. Pull your scroll button towards you. Wherever your mouse is on your screen, it's going to zoom in that area. So you can kind of get it zoomed in. This is going to help you when you create 3-point line. So I use my scroll button to zoom in a little bit. Now I'm going to click on By 3 points. That's selected. It's gray. And I'm going to make one click here. So I left click, I let go. I'm going to make a second left click on this endpoint. So I left click and let go. Now I can manipulate this arc. And what you want to be very careful of is that this yellow line never snaps over the white line. See, I'm way overlapping. Even the smallest overlap, anytime you get this green dot on my cursor, see my crosshairs, anytime you see the green dot, there's an overlap. So you cannot have an overlap. The smallest overlap will give you an error when you go to extrude. So I recommend you just go like this, where you have no overlap. We have a nice arc, and I'm going to make my third left click. So I left click here. So we used a total of 3 left clicks to make that arc. Now we're going to use the mirror command. I'm going to click on the mirror command, and I need to select what I want to mirror. I want to mirror my top line, my arc, and my line coming down the side. So now that they're all yellow, we're going to choose our mirror axis. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit by scrolling forward. I can see the center line here. So I'm going to click on this red center line. And if I zoom out more, you see I have a blue line showing where my lines are going to be placed when they're mirrored. I'm going to click on the green check mark to finish that command. My wing has been mirrored. All I need to do to finish it is go to finish. And now if I click here, you can see we have our horizontal stabilizer completed. Okay, let me just real quickly go over the process of how we would prepare this for printing on our 3D printer. We would come up to menu, we would go to file, we would go to save as. We want to save this in case we want to make changes to it in the future. And I would recommend that we just save this as your name wing, or actually this is the horizontal stabilizer. So we save it as your name, horizontal stabilizer. We click save. So now we can always come back and we can get to this interface where we can make edits and changes. Now I'm going to go and export it so that it can go straight from here to the 3D printer. So we go to menu, file, we come down to export, and we click on export part. And when we export the part, we're going to export it as a stereolithography file type, which ends in STL extension. So we click on the .stl extension and just leave the file name the same. I definitely recommend that you guys browse to your My Documents folder. So if you click the drop down, go to Documents, okay, you'll see that you have a folder there. I made a little airplane folder inside of mine. I put all of my parts, and we just click on Save. And now we have exported our file, but we need to change the custom setting to 150 for our surface smoothness. So we're going to change this value by clicking on the custom and then changing the value here to 150. We click OK. The command will complete, and we are now ready to 3D print our part. From here, you would just upload it into Google Classroom. And that is it. So now I'm going to come back in here. We will stop our sharing. I'm surprised that that took about 9 minutes, but we'll be able to shave a little bit of that time off. So I now come back. You can get it if somebody's there. We'll come up here to